So yeah, what we will have is our discussions last time. So we'll just continue from there, which is exercise 4, blocking out. We will create something like an open building uh, on a separate area. So let's start by inside our Unreal Engine uh, here, inside our oops, inside our Unreal Engine, you can come back to our modeling mode here. If you remember, this is what the modeling mode is. So, uh, so let's go to the poly ext tool and then try to draw something like this, like a building outline. So inside this, you can use a poly ext first. So ext, then draw like a building outline. So what poly ext is just extruding whatever shape you create. So you will see it will highlight when you can complete the polygon. And then click on it, and then you can drag up and down. So it just creates like a building outline, just like this. You can also change your extrude mode. Instead of dragging it, you can also change to flat or fixed. So when we try to draw something from here, so the flat is just as flat as this one. Whilst the fixed, you can just adjust the extrusion length. So instead of us dragging and dropping, so if we have an exact number, we just input here. Extrude height. Okay, let's continue with blocking out. So instead of ext tool, we use path ext tool instead. So in path ext tool, instead of creating a huge solid or like a volume, we create an extrusion with the wall-like figure. So let's follow this one. Come back to here, back to our engine. Once we complete our poly ext, we go to path ext, which can be followed here. Path ext. Then remove this magnifier here, and I'll just try to draw the path. So just like our original poly ext, we just draw the path here. Okay, so in comparison to what the poly ext is, once you complete the polygon, it will just create this offsetting figure from the original polygon that you have drawn. So just drag it out so that the thickness looks like walls. Okay. Once done, click complete. So continuing, we're just creating the floors and the roof. So with that, by the way, you can also easily draw figures if you are using orthographic mode views. So once we have drawn the walls, just like this, you can create the floor and the roof. So remember that in poly ext tool, it's a solid, so it's good for creating the floor instead of creating a path ext for our floor, because we don't need the offset just like this. So we just need a solid one. Also change the extrude mode to fixed, and then the extrude height to 10. So I'll demonstrate it. So remember, you can change your view here in the perspective, and then click top. Okay. Then you can focus by click an item and then press F. Okay. So we have this building here. You can draw. We put it back here. Let me draw up the poly ext tool. Poly ext. Then let me draw the floor. As you can see, it will snap onto your corners. So just draw and trace corner to corner, corner. Okay. So once complete, sorry. Before you finish it up, make sure the extrude mode is fixed, and then try to type down 25 or 10. 10 is okay as well. Drawing it again. It's easy in top mode because it snaps to your corners and easier to trace your walls. Okay, so if you go back to perspective mode here, you can see that we have drawn up the floor and the wall. So if you want to, you can remember our move tool. Sorry. Make sure to complete it first, by the way. Complete. So remember, you can duplicate this as your roof and your floor. So there you go. I hope you have created your floor. So So if you think your drone building is a multi-floor level, so just duplicate, hold Alt, and then drag the gizmo. It duplicates your building, your floor or your building. Remember, again, based on our previous discussions, you can also extend the building height if you want to. So you can just use the push and the pull buttons. So then you click on the poly edit. Let me click on the poly ed tool here over the poly model. Then you can select the faces by clicking the face. Hold shift to multiple select. And then remember, we have this extrude or push and pull. So click on the push and pull, and then right there, you can just extend your. Again, these are just geometry. So our modeling mode applies to it as well. Most of this stuff. So once you are happy, you can also click on accept. So it just updates your geometry. Okay, so let's go to our next area, which is okay. Just you create the stairs. So on the notch on the building or any part of your building, you can create your stairs. So just click on the stairs tool under the shapes. Place your shapes in there. You go place your stairs. So over here, go back again. Over here on the top, which is the modeling, the shapes, the stairs is over here. And just draw the stairs to wherever you like. But it's facing the building. Okay, there you go. So if you want to edit the stairs tool, there's also a lot of features over here. So you can edit the step width, the step height, so also the number of steps. Adding the number of steps just lengthens your stairs. So here, if I have only 2 steps, then I just have this. But if I have like 8, resetting it back to 8 steps is the standard. Okay, I click on accept. There you go. So you can test it out by click on the green button again to play. There you go. My player can move up and down. Okay. On top of that, you can add materials. As you remember from our previous lessons, you can use the Xform UV to change the material positions. But For now, just add materials to your liking. So again, how do you add materials? It's just by drag and dropping. So if you have your starter content over here, and then just go to materials, so you can see a lot of material types over here. So starter content, then materials folder. If you are missing the starter content, again, a refresher, you can add it by clicking on add here, then going over to add feature content back, and then click on content, and then click starter content, and then click to add to project. Only if you're missing it. So the building, I'll just drag and drop my brick way over here. And then the concrete, I'll make the stairs to my concrete. Drag and drop. Okay. Able to do that. Again, you can change if you think if you think this bricks looks too big, you can adjust them by going to the X form UV, so which means transform the UVs. So when you select the box, you can just scale it down. Select the face and then scale it down over here. Okay. So there are, of course, there are more proper ways to do this, but this is like the quick bandage remedy for transforming UVs, because on other workflow or software, you can UVs and materials. We will discuss it on a different topic, which when we arrive on materials. Let's get over to here. Okay. So now we have to create the windows and the door opening. Once you are done with your materials. So for the other guys, you can start creating the windows by going to shapes, going to box. So how to do it? You can just create like block outs. So as tall as your character. So to easily check the size, it's just the same size as your player start here. So if your player start, you can use it as reference for the height of your character. Okay, so let me just quickly scale the brush here. Go to this height scale. I can unlock and then go to the scale to 2 or 1.5. So this is my entrance door. And then I can create more windows. So to create the windows, click on the shapes box somewhere over here, and then just scale them as 0.7 so they don't look so big, or 0.6. Oops, no. So adjust the width height depth to 50, 50 or 80. Okay. So these are my windows. I can click on accept, and then I start to duplicate them. So duplicating is hold Alt and then click. So if you want to duplicate, hold Alt and then click the gizmo, drag it down. There you go. So the next one is to create the window and door opening. So we use the mesh bool tool icon under the poly model here. This will allow you to create the holes for the windows. So how do we do that? Just go back here, select your building walls first, then me over here in the wall first, and then go to our under the poly model. Okay. Then we go to here, poly model here, which is the mesh bowl. So as you can see, the mesh bowl is not yet activated. You need to select, hold shift, then select your windows and your doors. Okay, and then sorry, one by one. Click here, mesh bowl. Okay, then click back again. Click the complete. But the main idea is just click on your walls, and then click to your mesh, and then click on mesh bowl over here. And then it just cuts. No other steps from there, and then you just have to repeat it. Then click on the accept. On a separate note, talk about this. On a separate note, there are, if you know games and you know what collision boxes is. So collision is the property that tells if your mesh is somehow the player can collide with them. So on our mesh tools, it automatically calculates. So you can show it by clicking over here, the show, and then over here you can see the collision. So these are just the collision boxes generated by the creation of the material. So what's the difference of a mesh with or without the collision? So this last step is not really 100% essential, but it's good to know that there's an option over here. So the option is that you can combine the actors that you have created. So right now, what we notice is that this, let me just turn off my collisions. This is different actor than the floor, than this stairs. So if I want them as a single actor or a single object, you can just easily combine all of them by clicking all the elements, hold shift, and then click on each element. So once I have clicked on them, there's a, let me show my magnifier. So there's a actor button over here. And then right down here, there's a merge actors icon. And then you can click on the merge button over here. Once clicked, it will ask where you want to save. So for now, I'll just place it on my imports folder. So I call this my building. So I call it SM_building. So what does SM means? It means static mesh. Okay. So as you can see, inside the folder of imports, I have this new SM here, the static mesh. As you can see, the highlight is cyan, so it indicates it's a static mesh. So once I drag and drop this object on my screen, on my level, new actor, so now I can just duplicate them, arrange them, rotate them as a whole unit. As simple as that. So it's a reusable asset now. So the exercise learnings on the first one was the corrections. So we were able to use the gizmo. We were able to use the bake RS tool. So the bake RS tool is that if you just want the rotation and the scale of your mesh to be that, to be baked as 111 or 000 rotation. We also use the pivot tool. So pivot is to move the base point of your mesh. Okay, poly editing, we have like lattice deformation where we create the meteorite over here. So we also use the remesh tool so that instead of just big chunks of blocks, we use we created more mesh boxes. And then sculpting, where we create the notches on the meteorite, then exporting that asset. We also have all of these other sculpting tools, which we created the box, the crate asset that we have done. So now what we have discussed right now is the blocking out tool, where we created the building, usable building. Other references, the same. You can go to community forums. You have the YouTube channel and Unreal documentation to go as reference. Okay. Again, a quick reminder, so you don't have to be an expert of all, and be careful of rabbit holes. If you dig in too deep on some items, they can lead you to a lot of stuff. If you want to learn them, then go ahead, but be careful because they are all interconnected. So if you try to research this, then you need to learn this, and then it's a rabbit hole from there. What we are discussing is just the tip of the iceberg again. So there's a lot Unreal Engine has to offer.